Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to have you here on our stream today, which will be dedicated to the apps from Copilot.us website that you can use for creative work. I'm really happy to share knowledge about three tools that we're going to cover today. One is for the web search, another for copywriting, and then one more for different tasks with the images. So I really hope this particular stream is going to be useful for you because I do believe that there are people that might not consider their jobs creative. However, you can always work with text, images, visuals, and so on, even though you do not consider your job as creative. I think that is still a great opportunity to make your everyday tasks more efficient. So, I really hope that you will find the whole part is very useful for you because also in the end I will be sharing a voucher to make your first experience a little bit cheaper with Copilot.us because there are so many tools that you could check out and actually see what is working out for you. So let's get started. I'm gonna be sharing the screen just a second here with actually looking at our website. So here you can see that copilot.us, and then you scroll down and there are so many apps that we have been using and working on for you. Right here, you can see they're also on the top different sections. So the first one would be PDF documents and productivity. There are already different videos and streams covering these particular topics. Then web search, then content and copywriting that will be also covered today. The copywriter tool, then job search and career. I really think we will be hosting another tool and different tutorials about these particular tools, and also small businesses and images. And again, we will be covering our image background removal image today. There are also dedicated videos about this tool already on the our YouTube channel, so do not hesitate to check those out because I really think those are great tools. So once you are ready to actually get started working with the tools, you can click on the dashboard at the top right, and then you will be redirected to the list of all the tools that are there. And for every single tool, there would be two options, as you can see here. Chat on ChatGPT, which is basically using ChatGPT premium subscription. You will be able to use the GPT, which used to be our extensions in case you do not have those premium subscription to ChatGPT and you do not want to use ChatGPT in particular, you're looking for different loopholes on how to make your life a little bit more efficient. I think our website is a great way for you to test out our tools because here you can click on open app and then you will be able to use our tools without ChatGPT subscription. Again, you can scroll down a little bit, explore what kind of tools there, because I really think that even if today we're covering something working for creatives, in case you're a small business owner, that is still a very creative uh, everyday job, and I think those tools could be very useful for you too. So the first tool that I want to use and show you different user cases is Copywriter. Of course, as you can infer from the context, it will rewrite articles for you per your instructions. So you can send either the Word docs, PDFs, reviews, and so on, and actually rewrite the articles, or you can request from the scratch, fresh, and new text. So once you're ready to get started, just click on chat on copilot.us, and you're going to be redirected to the actual dialog window right here. And once you are here, we can already start using our different prompts. Again, very easy. Let's imagine I'm gonna warn you that I'm gonna cover three different user cases. And the first one is gonna be that I need a 30-second advertising scripts about a flight that explores the car from the inside and highlights the features. So first of all, we just prompt it and then send it. Sometimes it does you give the results and output right away. Sometimes, like we can see here, we need to make it a little bit more precise. So where is the content about the car place? It is on the web page. Again, do not worry if something does not go according to the plan for the first time. For example, in this case, if you do not have any content to provide, for example, like an article or something, you can just prompt proceed, and after that we can already either get the results or let the chat know a little bit more information. So let's say that is brand new text, just to make sure the chat is aware about that we are composing a new script that is not based on the article. However, we will be covering those examples about rewriting the existing text in a bit. Specific features of elements, again, let's make it as vague as possible because I do not really want to waste your time, and that will be completely dependent on your needs. We can write proceed and send it to the chat and then see how our first draft looks like. Maybe sometimes you actually need it pretty vague and not precise, just as an example or as a draft to understand how the process looks like. And here you can see that is already a great first example. So we have our sound effects, the narrator, the voiceover. Let's say we really like what is going on here, but what we want to do without the VO, which is voiceover. Once we put in that, let's say we just want to have a very visual script to have our story to be told. And again, you could have put a little bit more information, like without the VO, you want, for example, more visual approach. However, as simple prompt as this, just a few words is already having a great result. That is actually something we were looking for. Again, in case you don't want to have the narrator, we can also prompt with that without narrator, and we will have just, for example, the visual story with the background music, which will be very dynamic and very visually driven. That totally depends on what are you looking for and what your particular needs for this story. Again, I think that is a great way, for example, to see how the draft could look or how to brainstorm for the creative tasks. Another example that I wanted to show, I'm going to refresh our window just to make sure that our prompts do not clash. And here we can see that we can work with also headlines. So need 10 headlines for a PR campaign, the topic of young people not following the trends and being unique. We just send it to the chat, and do not think that, for example, you will be getting final headlines that you're going to love. Sometimes people use it just as a brainstorm tool. So for example, here, then you go through which keywords, for example, were used, or you like the first part of this headline and then the second part of this, or you are really intrigued by this approach and you can copy paste it and then write 5 more like this one. And after that, that will be a great way to actually explore what is out there. Do not always think that it will give you the final creative perfect product. Unfortunately, that is not how it usually works and not how it always works. However, that is a great tool to actually play around, compose the puzzles together, and have the great product at the end, which is also the combination of your efforts and the efforts of Copilot AI apps. Great. In the upload, would you like to try again? Again, do not hesitate if there are a little error. For example, 5 more file, I had a typo. 5 more headlines like this. So what I'm saying, of course, you might have a typo or the chat did not understand what you wanted from the first try. Please make sure that you reprompt it, refresh it, and that will be always working out in the end. It might take a few extra minutes. However, as you can see, I just fixed my typo, put the one version of the headline that I actually liked, and then ask for 5 more, and we already have it right here. I think that is a great tool for people who are actually working with copywriting, for people who are working with creativity and need to brainstorm new ideas for marketing communications, for startup products, and so on and so on. And I think that is a great way to make it as efficient as possible, the whole process for you. And of course, since that is Copilot AI app about the copyright, and we can upload the link to any article, for example, and actually ask to rewrite it, let's say for an Instagram post, or what we're gonna do right now is to rewrite it for a LinkedIn post. So I found a random article about tech industry and I want to rewrite it for a short LinkedIn post. Of course, again, you could provide a little bit more instruction. For example, that you're, I don't know, a 30-year-old art director, marketing manager, and you have a very friendly but very high expertise in the particular field, and you want this post to achieve those and those objectives and goals. But to be sure, to be honest, I think this very simple prompt will be also working great. As you can see here, we just wrote that we need a short LinkedIn post based on this particular article. But again, please remember that there are a few approaches that you can take, either providing as much information as possible or giving a little bit of a freedom to the app and see how the result will look like. And then you can, of course, if you don't like the first output, there is always an opportunity to fix it later on. So you can see here, there is also a little bit of the process and the framework, how it was done. And then we can have actual paragraph, which I think is a pretty good way to go for a LinkedIn post. I don't really want to make it super long, even though that is a professional social media, but I think that is a perfect length. Again, if you do not like something and you want it even to be shorter, you can just input shorter, and in a few moments it will be re-edited, and then in the end you will have your perfect result that you're looking for. I think that is pretty straightforward. In case you have any questions, please let me know in the chat. However, I think we are ready to put with the next tool, which you can see here, that is actually either web search or browser. Those tools are pretty similar and you can work with either of those. In our case, we're going to cover browser, but all the prompts that we're going to use right now are going to be applicable for web search also. So sometimes people have a misconception that creative work is just coming up with something, concepts, and working on the shoots and stuff like that. However, a lot of that also entails research. So for example, let's say that you are a small business owner and you need to have your first photo shoot, but you have no idea where to go and you have no idea where to get started. That is a lot for you. What you can do is, for example, find a production studio or agency that you already like what they're doing, and you kind of get a feeling that is what you're looking for, but maybe in your city, in your area, or in your industry. So what we can do here, I found the website of the production studio that I like, which is halal.amsterdam. And then I want to ask 10 more agencies like this just to make the initial research. I don't really care maybe at this point if those agencies are going to be in my city, if those agencies are going to be even in my country, but just to understand the landscape of the market. That is what I want to a little bit dive into. So I think that is a great first step just to see what is there. Here, as you can see, we have received the whole list of different advertising and production studios. And for example, let's say we want to have, again, make it a little bit more precise. Let's say 5 more production agencies like this in Europe. And after that, we can also double check how the whole research process will go. Of course, I always keep repeating, we can't do that manually. We can do that with regular Google searches. However, why would we spend time on that when we have all the great tools? And we can see right here that with one more prompt, which again took us just a few extra moments, we can see that we have completely different results because now we were focusing more on Europe, and we also specified that we wanted production agencies. I think that is a great tool to conduct your creative researches. And there is another example that I wanted to show you for another round of try. Here you can see again the same approach. I think that is the best prompt that has been working for me. I always try to provide the link to the website, portfolio, Instagram, and that is actually why these apps that we have been creating are working more efficiently than just regular ChatGPT, because ChatGPT cannot extract the information from the link. As you might know, ChatGPT does not have access to the live information right now. All the information which is analyzed there is outdated approximately 1 year ago. And here with our tools, you can provide the link to any website and then actually work with it. So here you can see that is the portfolio link to the photography that I really like. And what I'm asking for is 10 more creators like this. Maybe I'm looking for references. Maybe I'm looking just to explore different style of photographers or to understand how the photography trends are looking right now. And here we can see that in a few moments it will be analyzed the style of this particular person that I just linked. And then there will be 10 more links to different creators. As you can see here, I have the names and a little neat description: Swedish photographer, Stockholm-based photographer, Canadian photographer, and then so on, and what they're actually focusing on. I think that is a great way to conduct your research to understand what is going on in the creative market and the creative field. In case you need more references, for example, because you're working on your creative campaign or your first photo shoot for a small business, I think that is a great way to save yourself so much time rather than just manually researching people on Instagram, Behance, and so on and so on. In case you have any questions, let me know in the chat. I think we're pretty much ready with the browser. Just to wrap it up, that is a great tool to conduct research about creative industries here on copilot.us. And of course, you can always play around with it. In our case, I showed you how to research a few production studios and also different artists, in our case, photographers, but feel free to use it to make your needs meet, and be flexible and creative with these tools too, because they're extremely versatile. And another thing that I keep saying, in case you're not really sure how to use tool, always the first prompt could be how to use this particular tool, and then you will get the list of the features and user cases. And after that, you can adjust it to your needs and realize how useful it could be in your everyday tasks. After that, I think we are ready to proceed with our last tool. I just want to remind to you that we also gonna give out the voucher for a price reduction for Copilot.us website, which will be valid for 1 year. So I really hope that you use that and explore all the tools that we've been creating. So here is the last tool that I wanted to cover today. That is image generation. That is a pretty fresh tool, and I really hope that you can check it out. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. It's called image generation. You can find it under image section, and here you can see there are just one feature and two ways to get started. So the feature is basically to remove the background from the image, as you can infer from the actual name of the tool, image background removal. And there are two ways to get started. Either upload the image from your laptop or paste the link to the image and then start working with it. Once you click on upload the image, you can actually choose. In my case, that is a very simple image of a watch on the background that I want to remove. And once you upload it, just click proceed. In a few moments on the right, you will receive the final image, and then you can see it here. You can either copy the link to this final image or download it. Again, of course, there are more advanced tools to proceed with these steps, like Adobe Photoshop. However, if you do not, first of all, have the paid subscription to Adobe, you're not able to do that. And again, you need to have some skills. In this case, the process is extremely simple, and you can, for example, create visuals for your Instagram page, or you can create visuals for your presentation and save tons and tons of time rather than manually cutting out the objects from the background. Another way to proceed with this particular tool, we can change the image and go to any image on Google search, for example. What is important? We need to copy, link, and address to the image. Then go back to our tool and paste that in the field beneath our button that we used to upload the image from the desktop. In a few moments, again, we're gonna receive the final image that we can work with, either copying the link to this image or downloading that and then using it in the assets that we need, whether that is a PDF or you're actually working on Adobe, which is also possible. You can then save this particular asset and then add it to your final layout, which can save you a little bit of a time if you're really in a rush. And as I was mentioning before, I will be sharing the voucher for our, oops, there was I uploaded a new link, however, that was taking a little bit longer. So I refreshed the page and paste the link again. And after that, clicked process. And sometimes please make sure that you double check if everything is working smoothly, double check if your Wi-Fi connection is good enough. And in case something is still not working, refresh, reprompt it. And in the worst case scenario, our support team is always there and can help you to make sure that your experience is as smooth as possible. And as I was mentioning before, I'm sharing our voucher that has been active for a year from the few weeks ago. You can go to our website, which I'm going to share again. You can see it here, copilot.us. You can just delete apps. And then on the top right, there are three dots. You can choose request feature, manage subscription. And when you manage a subscription and you renew your month and your subscription, or you purchase it from the scratch, you can always use Copilot 20 voucher and make sure that your first experience will be extremely easy to test out all the apps that we've been creating. And also don't forget that there is always a feature to request feature or even new products. We always want to make sure that your needs are met and everything is going smoothly for you. So we added this particular thing that in case there is already a tool, but you need a new feature, we will add it with our technical team. Or if there is something that an app does not actually exist for, we're always excited to get started to work on a new app, on a new GPT, to make sure that your life is as efficient as possible. So I don't really see any questions. I hope everything was clear and easy to follow. In case you have any questions in the future, let us know in the comment section under this live or any other videos on our YouTube channel. Of course, also you can contact our support team. They're always there, and we will make sure that you will receive all the information and solutions to your problems. Thank you very much. Have a great evening, guys. Bye bye. Thank you for being here with me. Have a great one.